Novamed is trying to shake up the medical industry. They're combining healthcare and real estate. Very interesting. We first interviewed Novamed here on the show back in 2020. I remember they were making moves in the space. They bought a mask factory in China, if I recall correctly. They've done a lot in the space of telemedicine and telehealth over the past few years. And now they're combining healthcare and real estate. We want to hear all about it. So joining us now is our very own Julian Morrison, who is the new head of investment management over at Novamed. Welcome, Julian.
Hey, Kalila. Thanks for having me.
It is good to have you in your new capacity. How long you been there now? Like a month?
Well, not exactly. So the nature of the relationship has changed. I have been supporting Novamed for years. So we had more of a consulting arrangement. Well, now I'm there day to day. But it has extended for years now.
So we know Novamed as a company that provides telemedicine, telehealth. They did the drive-through COVID testing when COVID was on and that sort of thing. How do you fit in? Where does the investment part of Novamed fit in?
Well, the investment part of Novamed is actually its crux. It's the spirit of the company. It's first and foremost an investment company, but it is just focused on healthcare assets. So we invest in different buckets or asset classes, namely venture, private equity, and real estate. So everything we invest in falls in one of those buckets. So my job is to ensure that those assets perform and that what we look at fits our risk to return profile, and to also gather consensus from the team because we all have different strengths. So we have healthcare expertise, we have operational expertise, we have investment expertise, and then we'll all come together and we'll hash things out and we'll come to consensus before we move. So that is really the focus.
So tell us about what investments have been made so far.
Well, we have a very strong pipeline, but I can only speak because of where things are now. We can't get ahead of our partners. We can only speak about what is confirmed and public already. So we have Winward Medical in our portfolio, which is on Winward Road, and we have Medical Associates, and we also have Summit in the portfolio. Those are the assets that I can publicly speak to right now. But we'll have other things in the background that we're working on.
Is it just healthcare assets or you have assets in other areas as well?
Healthcare and healthcare adjacent, but pretty much the things that are healthcare adjacent are their revenues highly depend on healthcare. So the mantra is that we're a healthcare focused investment company. So think about Blackstone. Blackstone is an alternative investment manager, and they are looking at multiple sectors. But what's different about Novamed is that it is similar to Blackstone in terms of strategy, but we are just focused on one sector because that is our area of differentiation. That is where we can combine our expertise. So let me give additional context. So healthcare is not usually thought of as an economic sector. It's normally thought of something like a social good. However,
True.
Healthcare economics
Well, I think
drives
America has proven differently.
definitely. And
America's healthcare business model.
well, before that's a touchy subject, but
Uh,
yes, there is a big industry there. But let's backtrack a bit. Right now, many government budgets are running deficits, and this is true for both developed and developing countries. And there are some factors that pressure health systems right now, and those factors are likely to get worse in the future. Number one, we're dealing with aging populations. So as populations age, because of a decline in birth rate, it means that the workforce is going to demand more and more healthcare services. So a greater share of their income is going to be allocated to healthcare. But healthcare infrastructure as it is cannot adjust fast enough to absorb that demand, which means that as it is now, healthcare costs are likely to balloon. And they cannot be funded by the government budgets because the government budgets are already constrained. So before these factors get worse, we're already running deficits, and governments cannot afford to run themselves deeper into debt just to fund the healthcare factor. They have other things to service. So what it means is that private capital has to step in and play a greater role in financing the gap in terms of healthcare demand versus healthcare supply. And healthcare supply comes from the infrastructure. So we are here to actually put healthcare assets together, get them to work together seamlessly so that they can provide quality service and ensure that not just Jamaicans, but persons in the region can get quality healthcare, not just to impact quality of life, but also to improve living standards in a holistic sense. So that is really the strategy. When we talk about making healthcare assets work together, let's think about Apple, for instance. Apple products, they integrate seamlessly. There's the Apple Watch, there's the iPad, there is the MacBook, and these products, you don't need any extension cords or anything like that. They're basically built to communicate with each other. The issue we have in the region is that there's great fragmentation in healthcare. So what you find is that there's a clinic over here, there's a hospital over there, there's only one machine working, and it only works 2 months out of the 12 months of the year. Our job is to get those assets to work functionally within our ecosystem. So that is one approach that we take. So we don't just buy assets and sit on them and appear in articles and say, okay, that is it. We're active investors. We go in, we deploy our expertise to get the assets to perform optimally and get them to work together.
So what you're saying is there is a lot more room for private healthcare offerings in Jamaica.
Yes, so there's a, not to be negative, but it's really a bull case for us. There's a healthcare storm coming, and we're the first to buy umbrellas. So, but we can't say too much because we have to wait until the transactions close. But this is just the beginning of what we're doing.
There's a healthcare storm coming. Sounds very ominous. But can the rest of Jamaica buy umbrellas? That's the question. Do we have the income level for more people to seek private healthcare?
So let's put some hope into it. Many of our solutions are going to be funded by insurance. So many of the clients or the patients that go to medical associates, they use insurance. So that will not necessarily change. And that will soften the cost in terms of affordability. However, what is unavoidable is the fact that the snowball, as it relates to healthcare demand, is already in motion. I remember the epidemiologist, Dr. Julia Porter. She has an article called A Tsunami of Diabetes. It was released 3 years ago, and it speaks about how our lifestyle practices are already putting in motion what she describes. Remember, she's an epidemiologist, it's not Julian Tissot, a tsunami of diabetes. What it means is that non-communicable diseases like diabetes, heart disease, cancer, because of our lifestyles, they are likely to see an even greater prevalence, not just in Jamaica, but in the Caribbean region. Apart from population aging, that will also increase healthcare demand, and the infrastructure cannot catch up because most of the healthcare infrastructure and the assets, they either have very little to no private funding or they're totally funded by government budgets, and the government budgets cannot adjust fast enough to address the situation. So we are using capital as a solution. We don't necessarily believe that there will be a silver bullet, but we're stepping in because there's a need, and we are competing where we're strong. We have doctors on the team, both at the operational and managerial level, and also at the top, Dr. David Walcott. He is the one spearheading this. We're part of the vision. He's a doctor. I'm an investment professional, and we also have persons who have different strengths. So when we put all of this together, it's almost like we're assembling the Avengers to tackle this. So that's what it's more like.
How long has the company been around now?
In its current iteration, I would say a little over 5 years. It has evolved, and it will continue to evolve, especially as we build out our various investment buckets. And it's something we're really excited about because it's mission driven. We're not just doing this to generate a return for investors, but it also has an impact orientation, meaning that we can generate returns while still making a difference in society. It's something that's needed. So I'm very happy to be a part of this. Very happy to talk about this. And yeah,
I can
I'm
see the
just
excitement on your face. Speaking of returns, what's the financial performance been like?
it's a Kalila. It's because we're not listed and there's still
You
things that
can't
we'll have to
say.
close. Yeah, I can't get into too much. But here's what I can say. Novamed, based on our strategy, we will take investment exits from some of our assets. So some of the assets we will hold for a longer period than others based on our goals, the KPIs, and the timelines that we have. There are some assets that we will exit via listings. So
Mm.
investors will have a chance to participate in the assets that we are either raising money for from the market. So we exit partially or totally. It depends on the situation. But we will be able to co-invest with Jamaicans. So they will have a chance to participate in what we're doing. Will the whole mothership list? Maybe not.
How did you know that was my next question?
I've been talking to you long enough,
I
Kalila,
guess so.
and I know
You
you'd
said
want to
maybe, you
know
said
that.
maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe not. We're evolving quickly, but that's not on the radar right now. We're just looking at hitting our KPIs, making our mission known, and building on the strengths we already have. Some of our achievements include an award from the IDB for hitting our milestones under one of our partnerships with the IDB. We have a program called Catalyst, and Catalyst is all about supporting young healthcare businesses. And based on our ability to hit the KPIs, we got recognition this year from the IDB. Another achievement is that we've also launched a co-working space. So there's a lot more that we have coming, and the business model continues to evolve. And again, we just look forward to sharing more as we continue to hit our milestones. And also have you a part of it, Kalila. I'll be here
Hey.
again talking about Novamed very soon.
Okay. Well, I look forward to hearing more. Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Julian.
Kalila. Thank you.